Ready when you're ready.
All righty. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. So it looks like we've got a good crowd here. Awesome to see. I know people are still trickling in. People are still getting connected to audio. So we will start in just a second. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Welcome to Broker Connect. We love this series because it gives you guys a chance to ask your questions directly to ARIVE users and top brokers, get the answers that you need. So we're super excited for this session. My name is Kelly Galloway. So glad you all could join us. I'm here today with Jason, Sharon, and Danny Calderon. I'm so excited to have them here, but before I turn it over to these folks to introduce themselves and open the floor up to all of your questions, I just have a few pieces of business to take care of. So for those who don't know, we offer a ton of weekly learning opportunities, and they're all completely free. So we have 2 sessions of new user training every Wednesday. We have office hours with our product experts on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have a brand new onboarding and Q&A session that's offered 3 times per week, and you don't need to be an ARIVE user to join this one. We also have ARIVE University every other Friday. That's hosted by our CEO, Harish, who's on the call today. And this is where you can learn about all of the updates and enhancements to the platform. And then, of course, we have this session every other Friday. All right, that's enough talking from me. So we can get started and dive right into Broker Connect. So Jason, Danny, welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored here.
Yeah. All right, so Jason, I'm going to kick it over to you first to introduce yourself and your brokerage, and then Danny, you can go ahead and do the same.
Sure.
Great.
Jason, Sharon here, broker owner of Home Loans Inc. We're out of Charleston, South Carolina. Licensed in 7 states, 14 originators, processing staff of 6, and we've been on the ARIVE platform for probably almost 6 months. And previously, we were with Lending Pad.
Go ahead, Danny.
All right. Guess it's my turn. So I'm Danny Calderon. I am a co-owner of Loans by CMS, and our company is a smaller shop. We're basically a startup as of 2020. So it's just myself and my business partner for now. And we integrated into ARIVE maybe about a year ago. And we basically transitioned from Calyx Point. Thank God we did that.
Awesome. All right, thank you guys both again for being here. I'm going to kick things off with a couple of questions, and then we can open it up to everyone on this call. I want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to ask their questions if they do have them. But all right, Jason, I'm going to start with you again. Can you discuss how you discovered ARIVE, maybe why you decided to try it, and ultimately why you chose it for your business?
Sure. So obviously a platform like this, we've been hungry for in the industry for years. I was jumping on the ARIVE 1.0 or 0.10 or whatever you want to call it way back when it was not owned by y'all, and disappointed there. Kind of got a little gun shy. So whenever you guys started doing your own thing and launched this wonderful product, I wasn't gung-ho on rushing straight into it because I had already spent so much time and effort on the first go around. So really the encouragement of the community of my peers eventually started pushing me in it. And then I had a loan officer that worked at another brokerage that came over here to me, and she was like, hey, I know we're using Lending Pad. I know you love Lending Pad, but can I get ARIVE just for myself? I'm like, all right, well, fine. If you're that adamant about it, fine, I'll do it. So basically, y'all had an inside sales rep, embedded in my company that convinced me to come over, basically.
That's awesome. Danny, how about you? You want to talk a little bit about how you discovered ARIVE and why you chose it?
Yeah, so for us, Brokers are better network. Obviously, we were looking for a better solution than Calix. Calix is just something that was known. Okay, let's just we just need to originate, just get something that works and let's originate. But I hated the platform. I was always looking for an alternative solution. And Lending Pad was also something we were looking into, but the consensus that I kept running into was Arrive. I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's try out a demo. Let's see what it is, and I'll keep Calix for now. And we loved it. Honestly, it was like the no-brainer. It's just it's the best decision I made.
That's awesome to hear. All right. Well, I am going to open up the floor. So everyone, I have muted you when you first entered. You should be able to unmute yourselves now. If you have a question, go for it. Jump right in. This time is yours. We want you guys active and participating. Does anyone have any questions?
So maybe Kelly, I'll say some things about both Jason and Danny. So thank you so much for both of you for coming on the show. It means a lot. Jason, I came in just because you commented. I wanted to see what you're up to in this session. So that's why I cannot miss this one. So, but again, thank you so much for your support. I know, Jason, we talked many times. You know, you are not sure, skeptical. You were looking at some other tools, but we greatly appreciate. You know, the platform is still pretty new, but we are excited about where it is headed. The community participation is amazing. All the feedback we get, we try our best to get this out. You know, I think Jason, you brought a VA solution, so we put that tool out. So I think again, there's a lot more coming, but we greatly appreciate both of you joining today, all the support you gave, and as Kelly mentioned, let's go. We would love to hear questions, comments, thoughts from the community.
Yeah. I did get one question come through, and by the way, I should mention, if you're not super comfortable speaking up, that's okay. You can chat me your question. I'm happy to ask these folks for you. Feel free to use the chat feature and direct message me. So the first question we got is, how did you alter your process to account for your CRM? And do you use the life of loan updates in ARIVE?
So we are a very process-driven company. I've got a checklist for everything. I've got a checklist about my checklist. That's how. And if anybody wants that stuff, email me. I'll be happy to share with my entire operating procedure, so that you guys can learn and develop. And if you come up with something better than I'm doing, send it back to me. But what we did is we just basically changed our checklist a little bit. Of instead of using Lending Pad and Be in Touch, which we still keep Lending Pad for some other reasons, and we still keep Be in Touch for some other reasons. But we modified our checklist a little bit. Our process is I have a pre-underwriter that touches every file prior to it going to underwriting, and then she owns the file until it comes out of underwriting, and then she hands it off to a closing processor. So that's kind of my flow once the loan is disclosed. And we just changed up our checklist a little bit, but the actual change wasn't difficult at all. I think we did 3 internal trainings, up on the big screen, around the conference table to get everybody comfortable. But it wasn't bad whatsoever. I still keep Lending Pad for the historical data of everything in there. Because someone reaches out that I closed a loan 3 years ago. I don't want to not be able to do that, not to get their 1003 from 3 years ago. But besides that, we're all in. The only thing we are using Lending Pad still for HELOCs, because I haven't figured out a way to set up HELOCs in ARIVE. So HELOCs are in Lending Pad, but besides that, we're all in on ARIVE.
So Jason, just to clarify, just because of HELOC you are using Lending Pad, is that kind of where your company is? So if you put HELOC in, which is coming pretty soon, because all lenders we work with have HELOCs, like UWM just launched or will be launching, Remen just launched. So I think in next few weeks, that's one. So if you put HELOCs in, then you can eliminate that software. Is that fair to say? Or
if I could figure out how to export every single one of my 4,000 loans applications that are in Lending Pad and put that into ARIVE, then but it's $50 a month to keep Lending Pad for the historical data. I'm not.
Yeah, it's not too much. Okay, all right, sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You'd have to download every 3.2 or 3.4 and keep them saved somewhere. That's a lot of work.
Danny, how about you? How did you alter your process to account for your CRM? Do you use life of loan updates?
Yes, we do, and it's very convenient. So our process is very simple. We basically so we're transitioning our CRM. So that's something ever since Zapier. So we're navigating that process still. So we're more old-fashioned. We literally go through the motions, and when we want to reach out to a certain database or certain borrowers that we've had in the past, just literally go into ARIVE, send out whatever we need to do, and that's basically it for now. We're keeping it very simple until we can actually integrate a CRM.
Great. All right, everyone, just a reminder.
ARIVE does do some CRM stuff for you while the loan is in process.
Yeah.
I understand that the post-closing stuff is being developed over the next year or so.
I got a question. My name is Dax Riley. I'm a broker owner as well, and I came from LendingPad over to ARIVE. LendingPad doesn't have the capabilities to, or they don't want you to have the capabilities to be able to download your clientele into an Excel spreadsheet. And then I asked ARIVE to do that too, because I want to format that, and they told me that wasn't an option either. So
Are you trying to do mailers?
Is that an option to be? I'm trying to do not so much a mail list, but just to get my database over to like a CRM so we can market our clients. And they said that wasn't a capability.
So I'll take that. So I'm pretty sure you should be able to download as a broker owner. We removed that for loan officers. So the concern was I don't want my loan officers to run away with my customer database. I think so. It used to exist. It was taken out. But I think if you're a broker owner, you should be able to download a spreadsheet of your contacts. So again, from a data perspective, we want to keep it as open, like, it's your data, not ours. So you should be able to do whatever you want with that. So
yeah,
I think
that was my thought. I was on the chat with them and they're telling me no. So maybe I'll clarify, hey, like I own the company. So I'll try that again with them and see if they can walk me through that, because I couldn't, LendingPad they won't walk me through that to get my database.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I think he might have misunderstood. So if you're the owner, I just checked. So yes, that option exists in the contacts. You'll have a button which says export contact. That should give you, but we disabled that for loan officers and processors just because there was some concern.
Like, yeah, no, I understand 100%. And listen, I'm a huge fan of ARIVE. I'm a huge fan. I mean, I like LendingPad just fine. They were great, but ARIVE's better. So.
Yeah, you probably saw where state of Georgia actually fined originator and called a theft whenever they left and took a bunch of files with them.
I see. But great question. Thank you so much and welcome. So
I got a question. Do we know that? So there's a list of so what pricing engine works best with, because I know there's like UWM, Home Point, the Loan Store. I don't know how many. I mean, I'm set up with a variety of guys, but is there like a pricing engine that plays really well with ARIVE? Or is that going to be, or more people are going to be coming on board?
You want to take that, Harish?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great question. So ARIVE is a pricing engine and we have 12 investors, just to clarify right now. Yes, there are a lot more which we plan to add over next several years. That's our goal. Like we want to be an all-in-one system, at least for core origination processes, pricing, consumer experience, and LOS. A little bit of CRM that Jason mentioned is being developed, but yes, we don't work with any other pricing engine. We are a pricing engine, and our plan is to add more investors.
Sure. Is that a pretty big undertaking?
For the investors, yes. They have to, and with markets getting, I mean, earlier we had very little traction. Now we have traction, but markets are a little tight. So yes, it is quite a bit of an effort for the actual lender to.
On their side. Okay.
On the other side, and for us as well. But I think, since we have volume right now, there is a lot of, so at least we'll be announcing 2 more, I believe, by next week, and 2 more before we close the year. So.
Oh, good.
I think. Yeah, so
good. Yeah, that's great. And like, I know you're a newer company. I'm a newer brokerage, so I understand there's there's growing and there's steps, and I totally understand that. And so I appreciate that. That's great. Thank you.
Yep. No, thank you. So
Good questions.
At Dax, I still keep Low Sifter for the ones, the investors I have that aren't integrated yet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Unsifter, ready price as well.
Ready
You want to
price,
use
yeah.
that? Mhm.
I was looking at those, and yeah, I was looking at those. So that's great. That's very helpful. Those two.
Yeah, thanks. I've not heard of ready price. Jotted that down and look at.
I think that kind of is a good segue. Someone had chatted me asking this question: does the level of integration from the lender within ARIVE affect your decision of what lender you use?
It's a tool, right? It's a tool, right? That's the thing about brokers is we have to be smarter and better than the average retail loan officer, because we have to understand the client and we have to understand the investor, right? So if they've got a rental property, even though Freedom might have the best rates, I'm not going to send that file to Freedom because Freedom chokes on rental income. So it's a tool to be used, but it's not the holistic, homogenous solution, because it's just there's not going to be that one tool to do that. I mean, in the very beginning of the space, before ARIVE was actually a thing, even the first ARIVE was a thing. The plan was to develop a platform that you connect with all the investors, and the investors would not only have pricing, it would also have the overlays that would come over. But obviously, that's a tremendously large, undertaking for something like that to happen. But that was the original intent of this type of platform.
Yeah, there's convenience, but it doesn't dictate what we do as a company either. It's just a tool, basically.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I mean, we're brokers. Our rates are low regardless. I mean, my margins are set all pretty aggressively, so it's not gonna, make it break. And I'm more about speed, ease, convenience for my clients versus the necessary lowest rates. I mean, if I was interested in that, I would have been signed up with Provident or someone. So I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in closing deals in 12, 15 days and on to the next,
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim, and the adage is the top of loan sector is the bottom of the customer service.
Oh, that's probably a good point too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I ask a question about this? Let me introduce myself. My name is Kelly Almanzar. I've been in the mortgage business for 20 years. I just got my license last week, so I'm completely fresh. Have experience with KLX, have experience with Encompass, kind of stumbled upon ARIVE, did a demo, did the free trial. Love it. And my intention, obviously, like I said, I just got licensed last week, is to use ARIVE. But now that you guys are talking about the CRM, is there any one that integrates into ARIVE or one that you guys would recommend? So I'm kind of open to that, and I have a couple other questions if you guys don't mind.
Yeah. So the best answer for what CRM is best is whichever one you're going to use every day, right? Every CRM can have pluses and minuses to it. So I would demo a number of them, which feels the best for you that you're actually going to log into every day. And I suggest that you make that your homepage. Your CRM should be whenever you open new Google Chrome, that should be your the homepage should be your CRM. So that way it entices you to log in and manage those contacts every day. I believe with what Harish released with the API, that it'll connect to about any CRM. It just takes a good bit of effort on your part. On my to-do list, not immediate, is to get ARIVE talking to Be in Touch. That's who I've used for 4 years. I was with them. I left to another place, then came back to Be in Touch. That's who I've been using for a long time. I like them, but I'm not opposed to a different one. But that's just the easiest one for me, and I've got a whole bunch of data in it. So it's whatever one you're going to use, and pretty much any of them should connect. It's just going to take a good bit of effort on your part.
Got it. Regarding the pricing and product engine, so I've used the Lender Price before. I was kind of drawn to ARIVE because I saw that it was the only system I saw that kind of had a product and pricing engine kind of integrated into it. So I guess my question is, I think that was one of the questions in the chat section. So do you guys kind of focus on working with the investors that are integrated with ARIVE, or do you still use an external product and pricing engine like Optimal Blue or Lender Price?
I still use Loan Sifter on nearly everyone, unless I just know that file is it needs to go to that particular lender.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I mainly use Loan Sifter or any of that sort for like my non-QM deals. So if usually my traditional conventional FHA, whatever's integrated with ARIVE, more than likely I'm going to use that lender. If it's a non-QM, that's when I'll use Loan Sifter or Ready Price. That's usually how I do it.
Thank you.
Awesome. It's great to see people participating, asking their questions. This time is for you guys. This is not about us. It's not about us to promote ARIVE. It's really to get your questions answered. So feel free to ask, whatever you need to ask during this time. Feel free to unmute yourself. Again, you can chat me. I'm happy to ask those questions for you. We do have a couple that came in. So someone asked if you two could talk about call reports and doing call reports and how that's working for you with ARIVE.
So that's this week for me. I was blocked off all morning for call reports. So I still had some loans in my previous LOS. So what we've been doing is printing out both call reports and then pen and paper, making that one. But hopefully next quarter, call reports will be seamless with just ARIVE. But during your transition, your first quarter or two of call reports are going to suck.
Yep, I second that. So for me, great question, by the way. I just finished my call reports yesterday. And this is the first quarter since I transitioned over that it was a breeze. Literally took me about, 10 minutes maybe, where moving forward, this quarter moving forward, it's just going to be all automated through ARIVE. It's saving me a lot of time and headaches.
And I have a virtual assistant do my call reports for
me. Good man.
The ultimate time saver.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing correctly, it sounds like, from you guys who are transitioning from a LOS, it's a little bit more of a heavier lift. So someone like myself that's kind of starting out right with ARIVE, so with call reports, that sounds like it would make it a little bit easier for me. Is that correct?
It should be easy.
100%. I would recommend that. I will say that if you're starting fresh, every loan in ARIVE, it's going to be so easy for you.
So there is one thing which is missing. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
No, I'm sure I'm not going to be anywhere near as valuable what you're saying. You know much more about that.
So I do want to caution. So NMLS wants you to track loan changes across quarters. That feature will be added by hopefully end of this month. So before your reports are due. So that is one thing we don't kind of fully do well. Like if your loan amount changes between quarters, for whatever reason, LMLS wants to know that, like, what was that delta. So you may change it 100 times within the same quarter. I call them and it's very weird. Like why is that required? But that's how they operate. So.
Probably violating because I don't do that.
Just giving you a heads up, that field is not calculated correctly right now. But yes, that's coming. With that, I think our call reports will be fully dialed in. Reverse is another thing which is missing. So we'll add reverse. For those who do that. So that way it's kind of 100% complete before we close this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly, so I don't have anywhere near experience as you do. You're 20 years, I'm 8 years. And I've used Point, I've used Encompass, and then Lending Pad and ARIVE, and I wouldn't go back to any of them.
Good to hear. I've heard so many good things about ARIVE. I just when I saw the demo, I like the functionality of it. I use Calyx a lot for the last 2 years. It makes it look so bare bones by comparison. So I'm excited. I'm glad that you guys have these events like this where we can kind of share ideas and ask these questions amongst other people who are in the industry. And that's, I think, something unique that ARIVE brings to the table.
Love that. Well, we
I had a conversation with Point one time where they were demoing, and this was at a NAM conference a couple years ago. They were demoing what they were doing, and then on the bus, the little bus leaving, the Calyx rep was sitting next to me on the little shuttle, and she's like, "Hey, what did you think about it?" I said, "Well, you don't want me to answer that." I'm an acquired taste. You love me or hate me. So I said, "She's no, I really want your feedback." I said, "It looks like you put fake boobs on my grandma." So.
It's very descriptive. That's very descriptive.
That is too funny. All right. we got another question in here. So can you two talk about how the POS has been? Do you have any feedback about the POS for clients, or do you use the realtor portal at all?
So what I'll say about the POS is I don't have any more complaints of, hey, I can't log in, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. I mean, I've had not said anybody say the POS is great because, there's clients and they don't have any experience to reference it. But what I can say is, using Flowify before, then using Loansify before, I would get, somebody, complaining, once a week of, hey, I can't get in, or this isn't working, or something like that. So I don't have any complaints, would be my answer to that.
Great.
Same here. And I mean, the agents that log on, they're happy that they can update their pre-approval letters on a Sunday night. So I got no complaints.
I haven't used the agent thing because I think all my agents are lazy.
Can you do it for me? I know. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay, next question here. Can you talk about dual AUS and how has ARIVE helped with that?
So I'm a little bit odd on this, and I'm not trying to plug something else. Please don't take it that way. I also I have a small ownership in a credit reporting bureau. Harish, we're going to talk about that in a bit. So I don't run dual AUS because it costs money every time you run AUS. And if you've got a bundle that doesn't cost you anything, but it costs the bureau, the company, something. So I usually run single AUS, especially on government, because what's the use of running on government, because you're not going to get appraisal waiver. But I run single AUS because LP always errors on me anyway, because I don't put the account numbers, all that kind of crap on the asset, line items.
Yeah, for myself, it works great. Obviously, I came from a different platform, and it was junk. Now I know the findings. I know what I'm getting. Everything is accurate. Even when I transition over to the lender portals, I haven't had the, hey, I lost my appraisal waiver. It's all sticks so far, knock on wood. But I mean, I like it. I know if I have a real transaction or if I have a refer, I don't have to do double the work.
Yeah. Awesome.
Has any of you used the mobile capabilities? Yes, we put a lot of time and energy. Like, have you issued pre-approvals or quotes from your mobile device yet? Maybe Jason or Danny?
Yeah, I mean, my LOA does, my LOA issues that stuff for me, so I wouldn't.
I see.
I've tried, but my internet at the time when I was attempting, it was horrible. I was in a congested area, I guess, and I couldn't even log on. It was just my network.
Oh no.
Maybe soon. I'm doing an open house later today. Maybe soon.
Yeah, no,
Sorry
absolutely.
to disappoint you. Sorry to disappoint you.
I have two really basic questions, and I apologize because they're so basic. But like I said, I've only demoed them ARIVE, and I plan on setting it up next week. One would be for the signing engine. Can you sign documents in ARIVE, or do you need to have a third-party external signing service?
I don't know the answer to that question.
You can. I think DocuSign is integrated.
I spoke to DocuSign. They said they weren't.
Oh, they weren't? Or
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's a Harish question, because I was gonna ask the same thing.
So DocuSign has a open, so we have no specific kind of, if you call it integration, like, it's how, so DocuSign has an app portal. Any app can connect with them using their API. So you don't have to go to DocuSign. If you have DocuSign username, password, we have thousands and thousands of users using that today. So you just put that in, it will work. We are also going to launch our own.
Well, that's what I already have something. Oh, perfect. Cool.
Someone's having lunch.
It is, maybe past lunchtime some places. So yes, there'll be an internal e-sign, but that's planned for early next month. So because what we heard is people who were on DocuSign, as their volume grew up, DocuSign was notorious for giving huge bills, if you will. So a lot of brokers called out saying, so we have developed our own e-sign, but that's not live yet. That would be sometime, I would say, early September. Before we come to Fuse, we want to at least get that fully dialed in. So
Harish, so in the meantime, I can go ahead and sign up and use DocuSign?
Yeah, sign up with their $40 plan, whatever their business plan is. So all you have to do is in ARIVE, there'll be a place which says, put your DocuSign credentials. It will redirect you to DocuSign portal, and it should all work. So
awesome. And then the second very basic question was credit reporting agency. Is there one that integrates into that you recommend? I'd be looking at Credco.
I mean, all are
I
equal. You can
use-
ask. Yeah, go ahead. So
Oh, I use Advantage, Advantage Credit. That's what we use. We used to use Creditco, but I definitely like the layout and the integration of Advantage. And
Okay.
the requests certain requests that I do, it's a lot faster. Like the turnaround times, like verification of mortgages or whatever you're requesting, the turn times are faster, in my experience.
Their name was
But
Advantage
I'm in
Credit?
California. Yeah, Advantage Credit.
Okay, thank you.
Kelly, we
problem.
use Dotloop over DocuSign because Dotloop is cheaper than DocuSign. So something to take a
Dotloop?
look
Dotloop?
at. DOTLOOP. I think I'm paying $130 a month for 4 seats or something like that.
Okay.
Obviously, there's singles. You only would need a single seat. And then we use, and I'm going to put a little asterisk on this. We use Premium Credit Bureau. And I've been using them since the beginning of the year. And then I took partial ownership of Premium Credit Bureau about a month ago. So I'm slightly jaded or slanted towards them because of that. But I'm very happy. I liked them so much that I bought into the company.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Premium Credit, you said?
If you want, I could have a sales rep reach out to you.
That would be awesome. Can I put my number in the chat box and you can just take it down?
Yeah, that'd be
All
great.
right, thanks.
So I'll only add this to this conversation. Like with Advantage, we have a special pricing package, which because we give them so much volume. So just in case anybody wants to use that, like, so that way supplements, the AUS pulls, at least from your perspective, I think it is $35 or $36. It's a couple of dollars more than UWM bundle, but then you get a lot more. Like you can ask borrower's credit card, for free. Generally it costs $1. So they throw in a lot of other features, but you should compare them. And as I said, for us, they're all partners. So anyone which works for you works for us. So.
Great questions, Kelly. I just want to definitely say, like, none of these questions are too basic at all. So if you feel like you're asking basic questions, do not hesitate to ask them. We're here to answer it all for you guys. So again, jump into the conversation or join the chat. We have another question from someone. So someone wants to know, what has been the single most helpful feature for you and your team on ARIVE?
Thing that I like the most thus far is the ability to do the multiple quotes on, quickly on one PDF and send that to a client. So you can show conventional versus FHA on one sheet. You have someone's credit as a border, and they're like, well, I really don't want FHA. You could very easily show them that with a 675 credit score, you're an idiot not to take FHA. Or you can put in the 15-year, the 20 and the 30-year all on one comparison form. Those I find very, very, the ability to do that with a couple clicks is invaluable to me.
Awesome. Danny, how about you?
Yeah. For myself, so I like the whole integration of documents where clients can upload all of their documents on the portal, ARIVE's portal. I have a lot of clients that work in the Bay Area that are in Google or Apple, and they were actually impressed, Harish, with the software. So thank you. And they were pleasantly surprised. I've used other software for other lenders that I used to work for that are big bank lenders. And this is definitely hands down the better software.
Yep. Thank you. So I'm hiring. If they are looking for a job, definitely let them know in Bay Area. So. But go ahead.
They're all going to Texas.
That's awesome. All right. So I know that we talked a bit about, what it looks like for a new broker like Kelly, who might be joining the platform, but I would love to chat a little bit about transitioning to the platform. Jason, I know that you mentioned your team had taken a couple of trainings. Can you just talk us through, did you feel like that was sufficient? Were you on with customer support a lot? Were you in the Facebook group asking questions? What did that look like for your team? And then Danny, you can speak to the same.
Yeah, so any type of tech transition is scary, right? especially when, especially when you're busy. Like, when we did this in February, we were a lot busier than we are now. It's not good changing the tires while you go down the road 100 miles an hour. So it was one of those where let's throw in a couple refis into ARIVE, and let's do a couple refis to do that process. And then once we were comfortable closing a couple refis, then we started opening up to doing some purchases, and we just did the standard easy purchases before we got anything too hairy in there. Is how we transitioned. The Facebook group is vital. I get asked by my LOs questions about ARIVE. I'm like, well, what did the Facebook group say? Don't ask me the question, ask the Facebook group. It's because you're going to get Harish, you're going to get developers, you're going to get the people that actually know their stuff. I'm going to give you speculation. So I actually go to Facebook group before I even go to support, unless it's a really, really technical question.
That's awesome. I hope everyone here is a part of our group. I'm going to grab the link for you and drop it in the chat in just a second if you have not joined that, but it is definitely a wealth of knowledge. Danny, do you take advantage of the Facebook group, or did you take advantage of any trainings when you first came on board? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I definitely took advantage of training. So first, right off the bat, just, hey, let's schedule a training. I want to, obviously, the more you use it, the more comfortable you get familiar with the platform. And I started off with a few pre-approvals first, because a lot of them were online applications. Let's do the pre-approvals, and I'll get familiar with the software. Also did trainings, but the Facebook group is really helpful. I don't really like to reach out to tech support, and just like it was mentioned earlier, unless it's really needed. Like, okay, you know what? I need to find this. Like, how do I integrate my email with ARIVE to generate, I guess, conditions or notifications or pre-approvals? And that kind of worked out.
Awesome. Danny, how long would you say it took you to feel truly comfortable using the platform? How long did that take for you?
So I would say after 3 months, I was comfortable. And then after 6 months, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know I can request payoffs, conditions, homeowners insurance policies, whatever it is, directly from the system. Where I'm like, this is amazing. Like, and since we self-process, it's very helpful.
Awesome. Jason, how about you? Like, how long did it take for your team to be like, okay, we're good, we're pros, we know what we're doing?
It took them a month to get really comfortable. Probably a dozen loans each. Kind of thing is probably about where the comfort level is. And obviously, there's the platform is morphing and growing. So sometimes you log in and where you thought the button was, it was like it was freaking there yesterday, and now the button's gone. Which and it's now in a more smarter, intuitive place. But there's always the little things that keep you on your toes. Once I run AUS, I'm not in the platform myself very much at all. I'm my team. I'm blessed with an amazing team that takes care of the loans for me, so that I can go get more loans in. So it's set up. It's flexible enough to where if you've got processors, you've got a second LO, you have an LOA or whatever, you can assign multiple different roles to that loan. So that way, they don't all have to try to log in as me and get my multi-step authentication, all that kind of stuff. The flexibility for growing a team is in there.
Awesome. All right, so we got a question in the chat here. Someone would like to know, how are you organizing your pipeline? Is it by last name, or do you have a better way of doing that?
I usually just go by date. The most recent application, that's when I know, okay, this is a recent file, this is a recent file, this is an older file. But it's already pre-organized for you on your dashboard in ARIVE. It lets you know, like, your summary, what you need to look for. And if you're really using the system, you're gonna know where you're at. It's gonna say, oh, you're in application, or you're in pending an appraisal, whatever it is. If you're clicking the buttons that you need to do, you'll know what's going on with your pipeline.
Awesome. All right, guys, I want to mention one more time, the floor is open. It is yours to ask questions. Feel free to jump in, chat me. We are all here for you guys. I want to make sure that you are getting the most out of this session. Kelly, any more questions over there?
Not right now. I'm sure I'll have many more as I go down this process.
John, I
have-
see you've been
I
paying
have
it. I knew it. I knew you had a question, John. How did I know that?
Mine's about money. So I've only been in business 2 years. I've been on ARIVE for maybe a year now. I don't know. And I have 4 LOs and myself. I'm the one that does all the business. The other LOs don't really do much, maybe one a month loan, if that. So can I put them on the processor plan, or do they have to be on the LO plan? Because I've been told that you can, because the processor plan's cheaper, right? And if they have minimal use, they can be on that. I don't know how that works.
Right, I'm gonna tell them myself, maybe Arish can check on my bill, but for those LOs that I have that aren't doing a whole lot, I've got them on the casual or the lower amount. And you know, in my mind, if they're closing more than 2 a month, is my litmus test, or by stable to put them on the full, you know, whatever plan it is. And if they're not closing 2 a month, I've got them on that $29 or whatever the dollar amount is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now maybe Harish
Yeah,
doesn't
so
want that, and maybe my bill.
Yeah, no. So officially, if you're a loan officer license, you're supposed to be on a full plan. But we understand markets are tight these days. So I think if you have somebody who's not doing any production or one a month or something. So as I said, like, you know, there's an official documentation. But if you put someone on the lower plan, let's say for 6 months, 1 year, because there is no volume. I mean, we do get all these reports. I get lots of reports every week. And I'm not looking at them right now. We're trying to get more users for next year or so. I think the goal is to get more adoption. But yes, I think markets are pretty tight. So if you have people who are not doing any volume or a deal here and there, so you can work with our support. So they should be able to help you with that if you need any help. So.
Now that loan officers came up, so here's my next question is, for you guys, when you hire a new loan officer, so either yourselves or someone in your shop, is it a content matter expert with ARIVE that trains them, or you guys just kind of rely on the training that I know that I believe ARIVE does, like weekly or bi-weekly kind of trainings for for the system. So how do you guys integrate someone new into your shop into being comfortable with ARIVE?
You always definitely use, well, for me, I always definitely use the vendors training for that, because they're the true subject matter experts. Even if I claim to be amazingly smart and ARIVE like Evan Wade is, there's no way I'm going to go anywhere near what Harish's staff knows. So whether it's CRM, whether it's Microsoft Outlook, training, or Gmail training, whatever, I always leverage the vendors.
Great, thank you.
And they are all free. I think there are multiples which happen every week, like for onboarding new users. We have office hours, which is a troubleshooting session. So if you're having challenges, there'll be somebody from our team who can actually look at yours.
And for those of you who have kind of relied on the vendor and do the training with ARIVE, what's the type of feedback you've gotten from new? So let's say you hire someone that's new to the industry. What type of feedback have you gotten from them? Do they find it pretty fulfilling, where they get everything they need, or are they confused by it? What's the type of feedback you hear when they get that training?
I can't say I've ever had anybody complain about it. The training is, watching a video training or attending a training like this is never anywhere near as good as actually sitting down and going through exactly how to implement whatever it is. But you get the point where you just don't have the time to do that for somebody new. So you got to leverage your time and have them invest themselves. And then whenever they're specific of, hey, this just doesn't make sense when I'm on the screen, at that point they come to me or come to one.
Got it. Thank you again.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Roxanne has a question. Harish, I think this is more for you. Roxanne asks, can you upgrade only one loan user, as she has one LO and he doesn't close a loan every month?
So what was the question? That there is only one user in the company and you want to?
Can you upgrade only one loan user? I don't know, Roxanne, if you want to clarify that a little bit.
So maybe I'll make it simple. So when someone signs up, you make a decision, either a loan officer or a processor or an assistant or an admin, and you can have multiple roles. So the official request is loan officers are on the normal plan and processors assistant non-producing users, like who are supporting the business, are on the cheaper plan. But if you have a loan officer who's not able to get any loans, or maybe a loan here, a loan there, you can put them on the, so there'll be a checkbox. You cannot miss that. You can say it's a loan officer, it's on an occasional plan, or I forget what they call it now, so that, does that help? So answer is yes. If you have one user, you can move him to the occasional plan, if you will. So
she says she has 3 users. She wants to upgrade one. There's 2 LOs, 1 processor. She just wants to upgrade 1 LO.
Yeah, I mean, LO is supposed to be on the regular plan, but yes, you can do that if that makes sense. And our support can help you. There is a chat feature. I'm hoping everybody knows that and we put a lot of time, people and energy developing that. So somebody should be able to, an actual human, work with you within a few minutes. We have Facebook group, but you can also use our chat feature to ask all these questions, and hopefully you'll get good answers. So
well, I can attest, changing those things it's like super easy. It takes you less than a minute to do that.
Yeah, I prefer the chat.
You prefer the chat, Danny?
Yeah, I just send the chat and I'm like, okay, I'll go on with my day and do what I'm already doing, and then the solution will come.
Yeah.
Awesome. Quick question for either Jason or Danny. Do you guys typically use ARIVE to send your disclosures, or do you have the lender send them?
Lender.
Go ahead. Yeah, I always do lender. Generate disclosures via the lender.
Now, my plan is to go to a mini core model, sometime soon. But I've been saying that for a year. But at that point, I'll be using ARIVE to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably add, based on the feedback I get. So a lot of brokers have their broker disclosures, privacy policy, some fee agreements, or something, they want to get signed up front, like explanation letters and all that. That's what ARIVE gets used for, like broker disclosures. Most of the brokers will use the lender system to do the full docs. And then, like Jason mentioned, we have maybe 100 mini cores. They are using us to disclose, because that's a third-party vendor we use from a compliance perspective. So we have all these flavors, broker disclosures being sent from ARIVE, lender systems being used for actual docs, and then mini cores and non-DELs are using ARIVE for actual disclosures. So,
guys, I got to jump off. I just want to thank Jason and Danny for answering the questions. I really enjoyed meeting you both, and I look forward to guys communicating with you guys and seeing you guys in the future.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So we still have a few minutes left here, so keep your questions coming if you have them. So Jason, Danny, can you guys just talk a brief or kind of from a high level view, how has ARIVE changed your business? When you switched over to ARIVE, what did that open up for you, or how did it change your business at all?
It makes my processes more efficient, so they can handle more files. Obviously, there's less files now, so they've got even more free time to handle the clients even better, to ask for more referrals on each phone call. They're not as stressed as far as processing. So I would say the efficiency of my ops department has been improved.
Awesome.
Yeah, I definitely second that. Efficiency, it's saving me time. I'm not using multiple systems. A lot of the information is already integrated in one. I'm no longer sending encrypted emails. Now it's, hey, upload your documents on the portal. So it's very helpful. I highly recommend using ARIVE.
We definitely hear that a lot from our users, is that, they feel like the biggest thing ARIVE has given them is time back to go do other things in their business. And for us to be able to give you guys your time back to go do more business, I think is the goal, right? That's what we want for you guys. So that's awesome to hear that. What would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence of using ARIVE? They're not really sure if they want to go through the transition process or, pull the trigger on that. What would you say to them?
I'd say you gotta make the educated decision, talk to enough people, which you're here doing, and decide if you're happy, if you're happy with where you are, great. If you're not happy, let's say you're with LendingPad and LendingPad's a 6 out of 10. Well, what would get it to a 10? And then whatever that difference is, see if ARIVE will solve that for you.
Danny, how about you?
Couldn't have said it better.
Nice. Okay, guys. Well, we have been talking a lot. This has been an awesome conversation. We got a lot of engagement from people who, I know found a lot of value in your answers. So appreciate you guys being here. Did we cover everything? Is there anything else we did not talk about, or did we get to everything?
Good question.
Can I just insert something? I don't do a lot of recruiting, but I do talk to people. And one of the things I've noticed is people will ask me what's origination software we use. And when I say ARIVE, they're always very pleased. So I think it not to go against anything else anybody else has said, but it's probably a good recruiting tool to have too, if you're using it.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a cool little tidbit. I don't think I've heard anyone put that into the perspective of recruiting. So that's very cool.
Yeah, that is true. I do get asked that. And I think having a system like this in general helps, especially if someone's transitioning from retail or any other competitor. There's having the online app ease of use for both parties or all parties. I think it's a big plus. That's basically it.
So I'll add from the recruiting standpoint, I get this, so can we white label ARIVE in the sense when the loan officer logs in, they look at ARIVE. So I think they're going to take that out. So you'll be able to put your own company name in the LOS. So that way you're kind of, it's your brand and your color. So that's one of the major enhancements. Hopefully we'll do it again before we come to Fuse. Like you'll be able to put your logos. So that way you can do more recruiting, right? It's your brand, your theme. So that's kind of how, but yes, I think recruiting is kind of where simple systems, you can spend more time with clients, not on technology. I think that's kind of how it goes. So we are excited about that. So
yeah, that'd be a good tagline for your company. More time with clients, less time on technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously. All right, everyone. Last call for questions. Tamara, Lorinda, Raphael, Miguel.
Hey, Tamara, how you doing? She's right down the
street. How are you?
Good.
I'm multitasking. My kids are still home from school, hasn't started yet, so I'm making lunch right now. Sorry.
Multitasking, nice. All right, everyone. Well,
one more question. Can I ask a question? I have a house in Mexico, in Tijuana, and I go there quite a bit. I know there's a lot of talk about having I don't know what they call it, to be able to log in from outside the country. But I know a lot of my lenders, you can't log into their systems either from outside the country, but I use UWM a lot. And if I call my rep at UWM, he contacts the IT department. I give him my, whatever my address is for my router or whatever, and they give me access. Why can't ARIVE do that?
So maybe I'll simplify that. They have 1,100 people in their IT team. We are about 60 right now. So there is a scale difference from how we operate. But yes, it's a fair point. Go ahead. So
I could give you a solution to that. I have a virtual assistant that works for me in the Philippines.
Yeah, I think so. We get audited a lot.
She uses a VPN.
That's what I was going to say. Get a VPN. I could get a VPN.
Yeah, so we get a VPN. I think that's the reason, and the reason we say that is, again, security is very important. We are still pretty early, so the more we lock down, that's how we think of this. Maybe in few years when we will have more fancier ways for you can give us router address, IP address. But yes, getting the VPN is kind of what we request right now. So
what VPN do you use, Jason?
I have no idea.
No,
I don't know any VPN. So right here on my wall it says, "Not how, ask who." So anything that I've got, I don't.
If you go to our Facebook group, though, John, there have been questions around the VPN. So you can definitely search for that, and you'll get information.
My McAfee works fine overseas.
What is it?
The McAfee VPN. It works fine in Mexico. I set my broker up with it, and that was the only one that she could use in Mexico.
Okay.
Awesome. Roxanne says Surfshark is also a good one.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Surfshark.
Surf.
Surf.
Oh, surf.
I'll drop it in the chat.
Or if you create a hotspot on your phone, it'll work.
Really?
It did in Mexico. Yeah.
You
It's
should
not
get one
super
of those
secure
mobile
sometimes,
hotspots.
but if it's emergency, it's not super secure. I know from a technical standpoint, but for emergencies, it works fine.
I'll have to try that and see.
Great.
Mhm.
We're dropping VPNs in the chat just in case anyone wants to take notes of that. There are a couple ones there. And like I said, I hope everyone on this session is a part of our Facebook group. There's a ton of information there. Our users are just so open to sharing with one another. I think that's one of the things that makes ARIVE so great, is the fact that our community is so tight and so open and so willing to share. So please make sure you're taking advantage of that. If there are no more questions, I just want to give a big thank you to Danny and Jason. You guys are awesome for hopping on here, answering all of these questions with ease. We really appreciate it, because this is the kind of conversation that gives people real information. So we love doing this. Thank you guys. Join us back here in 2 weeks with another pair of awesome guests. We will be we'll be here answering all your questions. So we'll see you then. Bye,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Great.
Bye. Have a good weekend. Thank
Bye.
you.